years ago, a strange new creature started to creep about the East African grasslands. Odd it might look, but it had a serious purpose.
This, as you may have guessed, is no ordinary film about lions. Some of its sequences were gained in the most extraordinary way. This remote camera, disguised as a boulder, has been able to go into the very heart of the pride. Guided by these controls, it could follow a lion wherever it went, often where no camera has ever been before. And all the time, it was sending back pictures of the most intimate moments in the life of the pride. So this spy in the den shows just how lion cubs learn to become adult lions.
The lioness's cubs are just 6 weeks old, but already the strange one-eyed rock is part of their lives. Ever since they were born, she's kept them hidden. Now they're ready to meet her extended family. There are 6 lionesses in this pride, and 3 have cubs. By synchronizing their births, the mothers can form a creche and share the workload. We will keep them under close surveillance for 3,000 hours. The aim is to record the key events that turn them from cubs into proficient hunters. In half of all hunts, lions cooperate using techniques learnt as cubs. They vary their strategy according to the prey they seek. One lioness waits. Others fan out in a flanking maneuver. Their strategy has the herd surrounded. The zebra's kick saves its life, but other lions lie in ambush. A neck bite finally subdues her prey. The cubs also have less violent skills to master. Using the tongue as a scoop needs practice. At this age, the cubs have a very great deal to learn. The most fleeting event is still a discovery. Curiosity may have killed the cat, but a fascination with movement is vital for a hunter, and it's never too early to practice. Cubs are usually a few weeks old before their mother risks introducing them to their father. He tends to be a bit rough with the kids. The cubs are mesmerized by this 200-kilo Goliath. He may be 100 times bigger than they are, but lying down, he seems relatively harmless. Even so, touching him is playing with fire. His fuse can be even shorter than their mother's. There's nothing quite like putting your head in the lion's mouth. In parenting, lions are from the old school. They aren't afraid of discipline. Like human children, cubs are more restless than their parents, but they soon learn to relax for 20 hours each day. And life is about to get even easier. The yearly wildebeest migration brings several months' supply of regular meals. Catching prey is only half the battle. The male expects the lion's share. Males are half as big again and invariably win. Boulder Cam catches the moment the lioness returns with her cubs. It seems a risky tactic. The male is still on edge. She wisely gives him space. Hyped with high-octane aggression, he'll erupt at the slightest provocation. But the cubs are safe. They carry his genes, and anyway, tiny mouths aren't really competition. Mum spots an opportunity. She can use her cubs as a living shield. She inches closer. Dangerously close. She uses her tail as a flag to lead her cubs away. A rock kopje offers welcome shelter from the relentless heat of the plains. Pride females are almost always related, and their ancestors have lived on the same land for generations. Males are always outsiders who took over the pride and evicted the previous males. Predators can't resist a view, and where their mothers go to spot prey, cubs follow. Or, at least, they try to. Rock climbing may not be his forte, but he's learned that persistence pays. A cobra, one of the deadliest threats a lion cub could ever face. Fortunately, the cub's curiosity is tempered by an innate caution. Faced by a threat, the pride join forces. Their first concern is to corral the cubs. Their enemy carries a concealed weapon. It spits venom. The poison jets from hypodermic fangs. The lions are lucky. One drop in the eye would blind them for life. With a spitting cobra at large, the cubs are at risk. Holding them by the scruff of the neck stops them struggling as they're carried to safety. The cubs are suckled as much as 15 times each day. Their milk supply is governed by the amount of food she eats. Boulder Cam makes a useful footrest. Nursing mothers share breastfeeding duties, and if a mother dies, her sisters will often raise her orphans. With claws retracted, the paws' pads make a velvet cushion. The lions are now so at ease, our spy in the den can often approach to within a whisker.
The cubs have survived the most dangerous weeks of their lives. Many adventures lie ahead. In the next few months they will grow rapidly in size and strength, and they'll spend more time within the security of the pride. As they interact with individuals, they'll learn the rules that govern life in the pride. And as they gain in confidence, they'll play at stalking and hunting. To discover just what life holds for infant lion cubs, Boulder Cam goes back into the pride.
The cubs practice tackling each other. One day, a trip kick will bring down prey. They still have problems recognizing just what is prey. Things that run away cry out to be chased. But a mongoose can perform a vanishing trick. and the illusion of popping up from nowhere. But they have an even better trick. It's a game that plays with numbers. They band together and conjure up a huge, sinuous creature, a superorganism, too big to mess with. Then, as quickly as it formed, the creature fragments before her eyes. As the day heats up, they compete for shade. Filling every available space, their bodies trace a living imprint of the tree. Unlike the females, pride males are not necessarily related, and there's no real leader. They formed their brotherhood before they took over the pride. He marks his territory with a musky blend of urine and scent, a pungent calling card to both rivals and other pride members. His huge mane may be a handicap that prevents him from helping in the hunt, but in courtship, size matters. Females prefer big manes. They often make the first move. He needs to be careful. In case she turns, he uses the same scruff hold as a mother carrying cubs. This time he was lucky. Lions mate once every 25 minutes, so the male soon needs encouragement, especially as he has to keep up his performance for 3 days. He's most vulnerable when he releases his grip. Eating grass helps lions regurgitate fur balls that form when grooming, as it does for domestic cats. Lions have few enemies, but danger can materialize from unexpected quarters. A swarm of African bees, far deadlier than any honeybee. One sting triggers the others into a frenzied attack. In seconds, Africa's greatest carnivore is seen off by an insect. She seems a willing partner in this sexual marathon, but she's also fickle. Boulder Cam, caught in the crossfire, only just survived. She's still hyped with aggression. As lions may mate 150 times in 3 days, the male needs to combine stamina with caution. A family of warthogs gives the adults a chance to show just how it should be done. In long grass, the initial approach can be rapid. She aims to narrow the gap as fast as possible, ideally to less than 30 meters. Crucially, she matches each move to her prey's reactions. If it looks up, she stops. If it looks away, she goes on. In a series of fits and starts, she gradually closes the gap. As she gets closer, she moves more slowly, and her profile melts into the grass. Lions find it hard to outrun their prey. Every inch nearer will tilt the odds in her favour. Only her tail betrays her emotion. Now even padded soles are a liability. She turns her foot. Fur is quieter. In her charge, she reaches 35 miles an hour, but after 100 meters, her energies flag. Now, teamwork shows its value. One warthog won't go far, so they squabble for a share. But victory may be short-lived. The cubs are now regular meat-eaters. But they also eat far more. Scrounging from the male will prove harder. The cub rolls in submission. The aggression triggered by the kill affects them too. The pride is forced to bide its time, but their chance may never come. This is one contest the male can't win. For cubs of this age, this was the last event witnessed by Boulder Cam. It was to return when the cubs were older.
Now the cubs are 1 year old, they've learnt many of the rules that govern life in the pride. Soon, stalking and tackling prey will be added to their skills. But their first attempts at hunting are not only nearly always unsuccessful, but sometimes very comical. As with many youngsters, their enthusiasm outweighs their experience. But, as Boulder Camp discovered, on occasion, this over-exuberance can lead them into trouble.
The first sign that things have changed is their reaction to Boulder Camp. The year-old cubs are stronger and far more confident. Remarkably, in all its encounters, Boulder Camp was never damaged. The adolescents are now totally relaxed again in its presence. But peace never reigns for long, and this is blatant provocation. At this age, they'll have a go at anything. The youngsters are still testing their limitations. Lions are not great climbers, despite having claws like retractable crampons. Each new foothold is a risk. The adolescents will eventually learn their limits. Adults rarely chase baboons. Going up is easier than coming down, as it is for domestic cats. But these cats are 10 times heavier. The baboons also have a secret arsenal. Sticks make effective missiles. And as a last gesture, a baboon has her own way of expressing her feelings. Birds are just as tempting as they were when the youngsters were cubs, and just as hard to catch. Even at more than a year old, they're still learning by investigation. Is a dead catfish edible? If not, how about a bunch of water hyacinths? Something that moves has just got to be food, but it pays to be careful. The monitor lizard's movement is unlike anything they've seen so far. The lizard gives an impressive display of bravado, adding sound effects as it inflates. As a finale, it has a whip to crack. Faced with the unknown, even adult lions are natural cowards. At this age, real hunting is still a spectator sport. Barely a mouthful for an adult, it's more use as a teaching aid. This rarely seen behaviour hones the cub's hunting skills. Fortunately for the piglet, they still have much to learn. Although in need of more hunting practice, they're now strong enough to defend themselves, so the adults often leave them unattended for up to a day at a time. It's while unsupervised that trouble tends to strike. Buffalo are formidable prey. They kill more lionesses than any other animal does. But the youngsters are still learning by trial and error. The buffalo are quick to get the measure of their attackers, and the tables turn. Her climbing practice pays off. It's now the adults that turn the tables. This adolescent has learnt another valuable lesson. Six months on, and the young lions are a bigger and more muscular proposition. They've also improved their hunting techniques. Although their style lacks the adult subtlety, it can still trap the unwary. She won't be seen if she doesn't move. The mistake is to pounce too soon. The zebra's suspicious, but the lion holds her nerve. She's after the easiest target. But even foals are armed. An adult stages an ambush. She targets a full-grown zebra, but grabs it badly. Desperately, she attempts a neck bite. The young lions try to help, but are somewhat bewildered. Then, mostly by luck, their weight brings it down. Although they didn't actually perform the kill, this is their most successful hunt so far. But it's as well that they're eating fast. The male's tolerance to them has vanished with their coming of age. The female's daring raid gives them a chance, but not for long. For the young lions, the pressure is now on for them to catch their own meals. A hippo is unlikely prey, even if they were adult. But out of water, it's hard to resist. But it won't take it lying down. Its colossal size is challenge enough, but it's also armed with neck-crunching jaws. It could easily kill a young lion. In retreat, the hippo appears tantalizingly vulnerable. They're rehearsing moves that adults use on buffalo, but they've still got some growing to do. They hadn't a hope of success. But it's good practice. Their old enemy returns, but something has changed. Bigger and stronger, the lions are more inclined to hold their ground. They know they can outmaneuver an elephant, so they play a game of dare. Ultimately, it's a game no elephant could be seen to lose. The cubs are now 2 years old, and have learned most of the rules that govern pride life. It will be 2 more years before they have cubs of their own. Through play and chasing, they've honed their predatory skills, but they still face their greatest challenge. They have yet to bring down prey. It's more a mob attack than a clean kill, but primal instincts have been woken. There's no looking back. She's reluctant to give up the hard-won carcass, but it's hot and the pride is heading for shade. Scavengers prepare to pick over the pieces, but the young lion is in no mood to share. It's become a stop-start game of statues. After 2 hours, she bows to the inevitable. The male is a master of relaxation, but occasionally the tranquility of the pride is broken. It's then that the male shows his hidden strengths. These are nomadic males looking to join a pride, and they plan to take it by force. Unless he confronts these invaders, they will kill the youngest males and drive out the others. The whole pride has a stake in the outcome. This time the nomads failed, but someday others will be back. The fate of all prides is to be taken over by new males. The pride join in a chorus of defiance. Roars carry 5 miles and are as identifiable as a call sign. The strength of the chorus warns others to stay away from a pride in its prime.
Now the young lions are facing maturity, they face their greatest challenge, to find a pride of their own. By the time they're 3 years old, the young males will have been driven out by the older lions. As the spy in the den has shown, the pride is at the very heart of lion life, and it's seen at its most cooperative when the lions hunt together. It's then that the skills they learnt as cubs are finally tested.
Every move as a hunter stems from behaviour learnt or perfected as a cub. Those early encounters were a rehearsal for adult life. In the hunt, the fun and games of the past are replayed in earnest. It was in those 2 years of playful experiment that cubs really learnt to become lions.
More big cats in the Wild Zone next Sunday. We'll stay with us for drama. Next on BBC Prime, the sun's shining on Kenny, but storm clouds are gathering after 2,000 acres of sky.
Hakuna matata.